Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. Today we are in Eureka, Utah, mining community in not quite a ghost town. Be sure to like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell for more like this. Let's get into it. Now, Eureka was founded in 1870 when silver and other ores were discovered in the area, and in 1910, during the town's boom, Eureka was the 9th largest city in Utah with a population of around 4,000. Now, when you pull into town, the first thing you're going to see is this old building off on the right, brick building, but behind it, the buildings look even older. And on the left when you pull in, there's a giant hoist that represents right there where that vertical mine went down. And also, there's a place where the ore cars dumped all the ore so they could transfer them to the mill.
Definitely an old house or homestead here, old cabin. See all that. Back there, the old roof, multiple layers on there. The old tin on that. The old stovepipe came out there. The old boarded up window. This looks like it's definitely the oldest part of the building.
Found this little fire hydrant buried here in the grass next to this abandoned building, the brick house. And also, this is where the ore cars used to dump all the ore to take it across to the processing center. So you can see where the rail cars used to come and back up and dump out right here to transfer everything to the processing of those mills.
The construction of these old pieces of mining equipment are amazing. The heavy metal. I just can't get over the size of the lumber they used to use to build all these. Amazing milling work for sure. Here's the City Hall here in Eureka. 1899 City Hall. It looks like we're going to be able to go on inside and take a look at what's in there. Maybe gather some information. And this is inside the sheriff's office. Inside City Hall, you can see the reverse on the window right there. Here's an actual picture from right where we are standing with the same desk.
Now, this old courthouse was turned into a museum, and as we go up the stairs, you can see off to the right that this used to be the original courtroom where they held court here just above the sheriff's office. And we're also going to take a look right here on the right. This is a three-dimensional mine. Glass plates with all the pictures of the levels of the mine. I have never seen one of these. I've heard talk about them, but I've never seen one. There's only 3 plates that are missing. You can see the 1100 level, the 1000 level, the 900 level. It shows you every level and how this mine was dug out and operated, where they took out all the ore in Eureka. Take a look at these old theater seats. These are out of the original theater that was here in town. Now, that theater burnt down, but they were able to save the projectors and a few of the seats and things. Now, the projectors are across the street. We're going to take a look at those. Those are fascinating. And some old miners' hats and some things out of a well pieces. This museum was actually full of old artifacts and things to look at. So you got to stop into this museum when you get into Eureka. But I'm going to show you this. This was made out of shell casings by a sailor. All handmade from World War I. This is the only lamp of its kind. And here we are in the classroom that lived right here in the courthouse. These are all the old original desks from that school, and a mannequin of the kids are a little bit creepy, and the teacher who looks extremely stressed out. The Tintic Mining Museum. This was an old train depot that was put here in town and turned into this museum.
Now this is the old double lift. The double lift, what it was, is it would lift up the ore car at the bottom with two miners in it, or the ore car would be at the top. So either way, the miners would jump out and they would dump this ore out of one of the cars, and then they would take the ride straight back down to fill it. So the miners came up with these double ore cars to be able to dump the ore out of those cars. And these are two of those lifts. This is a double here. And then there's a single lift right next to it out in front of this mining museum.
You remember Lyle from our last video. We put up a whole video about how he makes this calcium chloride miner's lamp. Now he dumps in the chloride in the bottom. It's a dry chloride substance. And he puts it in the bottom, and then in the top he puts water. And then you adjust the drip, and it drips that water on that calcium chloride, and it makes methane gas. And then there's a striker that lights it. Not only did they used to light their way through the mines, but they also used it to write on the walls all the levels and everything about that mine.
Well, these are the old 1900s buildings, maybe a little bit earlier, here on Main Street, right through town. And there's a 1917 is what we're told, a 1917 Studebaker. There it is. There's a 1917 Studebaker in pretty darn good condition. Better condition than the teddy bear, I'd say. Luckily, another busted window allowed us to film that. But look at the outside of this old building, all original. There was an old malt shop that lived up here at the end. All this is boarded up, but look at how old these buildings are right here on the sidewalk. You can see where a sign used to hang over the top of this one. And the entranceway. Another hole inside the building. See if we can see inside. Let's take a look inside of this thing, as it is very, very old. Look at the roof in this cabin. Old table, old tools on there. And the old door. Smells almost like sagebrush in here. Maybe that's what the roof's made out of, is sage. Now this cabin was the Orrin Potter Rockwell cabin. And it was said that it was built in 1865. And they found this on the property. And it had a little bit of deterioration to it. But they brought it here, is what I was told. 3 men, one of the men I met in the museum, brought it here and reconstructed it, put it all back together and preserved it by putting it under this protected awning or cover, if you will. And we're going to go in this building over here, as this has the old Star Theater from in town. The theater doesn't exist, but the cameras still do. Let's go over there. Now these are the original projectors that lived in the theater, and they've stored them back here. They were going to throw them away, but the gentleman we met said, let's not do it. Let's store them back here and keep them, because these are antiques. Look at those amazing old projectors. These are from 1935, from the Simplex motion picture projectors from Star Theater here in Eureka, Utah. This is looking at all the buildings down the side of the street here in Eureka. There's the museum we just went in, the mining museum, the City Hall, and then a bunch of shops down the way. And these are amazing old buildings. And we're going to take a walk down that direction as well and take a look at those buildings. There are a lot of little stores down that direction. Now this is the building that had the ceiling fall in onto the roof. And this all came down. And this is the front of this old amazing building. They had to take all this, was in the road here in town, the old railing, the old iron railing, and all the wood that they took out of here. You'll see some more mining equipment off in the distance that they put here on property. But all of this was in the road from this old building falling in. Here you go, classic car. This is a Hudson, as it says so right there. Look at the body on this car. Isn't very dented up, but it is old. Old railroad caboose. Seems like we just saw one of these in Caliente. But as luck would have, this is open. Take a look in here. That's where the old stove would have went, the old wood stove to keep them warm in the caboose. Old bench area where you could sleep as well. And an old desk. Look at this. Now I've seen these before, and they actually had areas up here for people to sleep. I know it's short and small, but they had storage, and then they would put pads up there and people would sleep up on those. And then they had their lockers. They had kept their gaskets and air hoses and rags in there. And this was the toilet. Right here, the toilet is right off the side. Look at that, a caboose with the toilet, and a moth just flew out of there. And a sink. And they probably kept oil and those kind of things in that there. And this is all wood on the inside. And here's an old rat rod right here sitting next to a gas can. It says right on the side, Rat Rod Garage. We're at the Tintic Hills Motor Clothes Emporium. And we got somebody greeting us out front.
That's Samson.
Samson. Samson's greeting us.
Silva's in the chair out front.
Oh, okay, Silva?
Yeah.
All right. And Samson's partner, Silva, is out front, sitting right here, hanging out in her glittery dress and headband. Now this one right here says it's the BPOE. That would be an Elks Lodge, and it says block right on there. The giant elk cage still sitting on the front of the building, right there. But now they've got a liquor store at the bottom, and Black Hollow Fever, another little store that's in there, a local variety shop. And over there they've hollowed out a building and they've got some lighting right over there, so you could like dine outside or have an outdoor kind of a get-together. Company store, and quite a few abandoned buildings. It looks like they're going to restore them. And the Gately building at the end. These are all Old West looking stores. See if we can get a little closer. Well, there's a door open. We're going to head on in here.
This is inside the Gately building. This well lives just inside the door on the left. You can see it through the window. And it was said that a murderer once committed that crime and threw the weapon in the bottom of the well. And it was also said that this location is haunted. And it absolutely looks like it would be, as you get a creepy vibe when you step inside the door and look at this structure. This was featured on Ghost Adventures as well. It's one of the haunted locations here in Eureka, Utah. And this well still has water in the bottom of it. And they said that they used to hide whiskey barrels in here and kept them cool, and then they'd pull them out during Prohibition. But one thing for sure, as I would not want to go hunting ghosts in this building. Eureka has no shortage of things to see and some of the friendliest people that we've met. And until our next adventure, goodbye from Weekend Escapades, and we'll see you in the next one.